In every economic cycle, there are businesses that dominate headlines, attracting thousands of new competitors almost overnight, while at the very same time, another group of businesses continues growing quietly with very little public attention. History shows that some of the most profitable industries rarely become social media trends because they solve persistent problems instead of chasing temporary excitement. As artificial intelligence, automation, and changing consumer habits reshape markets in 2026, many entrepreneurs are searching for the next revolutionary idea, yet some of the strongest opportunities are hidden inside industries that most people stopped paying attention to years ago. The important lesson is not that these businesses guarantee wealth, because no business can do that, but that understanding why demand continues to grow can reveal how economic systems actually work. The first forgotten business is equipment maintenance and industrial repair. When people imagine modern business opportunities, they often think about software, digital products, or online services, yet factories, warehouses, construction companies, hospitals, and logistics centers all depend on expensive machines that cannot simply be replaced every time something breaks. As equipment becomes more advanced, maintenance becomes more valuable because downtime costs businesses far more than repair itself. Imagine a production line sitting idle for several hours because one specialized machine failed. The repair bill may seem expensive, but compared with lost production, it becomes a relatively small cost. This creates a market where skilled repair services remain consistently valuable regardless of changing technology because every new machine eventually needs maintenance. Instead of replacing this industry, automation often increases its importance by creating even more sophisticated equipment that requires specialized expertise. The second overlooked business is waste recycling and material recovery. At first glance, recycling appears to be an ordinary utility rather than an exciting business, but the economics tell a different story. Governments continue introducing environmental regulations, while manufacturers increasingly look for reliable supplies of recycled materials to reduce production costs and meet sustainability goals. Electronic waste, industrial plastics, batteries, construction materials, and precious metals hidden inside discarded electronics all represent resources rather than garbage. The mathematical principle is straightforward. When raw materials become more expensive, recovering existing materials becomes increasingly attractive. Businesses operating in this sector benefit not because waste suddenly becomes fashionable, but because economic incentives naturally encourage more efficient use of valuable resources. The third forgotten business is senior care and home assistance services. Around the world, populations are aging, and demographic trends move much more slowly than technology trends. While apps and digital platforms can change within months, population structures often take decades to shift, making them one of the most predictable economic forces available. As more families balance careers with caregiving responsibilities, demand continues expanding for home assistance, mobility support, meal preparation, transportation, and specialized elderly services. This is not driven by temporary consumer preferences, but by long-term demographic mathematics. Whenever a society experiences sustained population aging, businesses serving those needs often experience steady demand because they address an essential part of everyday life. The fourth forgotten business is business cybersecurity for small and medium-sized companies. Large corporations invest millions in digital security, but smaller businesses increasingly face the same online risks without having dedicated security teams. Every additional digital payment system, cloud application, or connected device expands the number of potential vulnerabilities. Many small companies cannot justify building an internal cybersecurity department, creating demand for outside specialists who provide monitoring, employee training, backups, and security management. The interesting economic pattern is that as digital transformation spreads across nearly every industry, cybersecurity gradually shifts from being an optional expense to becoming part of normal business operations, much like accounting or legal services. Although these four industries appear very different, they all share one important characteristic. Their demand is driven by structural economic forces rather than temporary online trends. Equipment must continue operating. Valuable materials become worth recovering. Aging populations require assistance, and expanding digital systems require protection. These are examples of businesses built around recurring needs instead of short-lived excitement. And history repeatedly shows that solving persistent problems often creates more durable opportunities than chasing whatever happens to be popular at a particular moment. Understanding these patterns also changes the way we think about opportunity itself. Successful business decisions are rarely about predicting the next viral trend. More often, they involve recognizing systems that continue functioning regardless of headlines. Markets constantly reward businesses that reduce costs, improve efficiency, solve unavoidable problems, or support long-term demographic changes. Rather than asking which business is becoming popular, it may be more useful to ask which problems society will still need, solved 5 or 10 years from now. That question rarely produces flashy answers, but it often reveals the economic foundations that quietly support entire industries for decades.